Hey there, I'm Joe Dickerson with the Joe Dickerson Group at Keller Williams Realty in Oakland, California. I'm here with Lan Fullerton of Steven Adair MacDonals Partners. She's a lawyer that specializes in landlord lawsuits and whatnot in particular, and she's here today to talk a little bit about owner move-in evictions.
Hi. So for an owner move-in eviction, let me just back up a little bit. You may or may not know that most rental units in Oakland are covered by the just cause for eviction ordinance, which means that a landlord needs to have a just cause to evict the tenant, and the just causes are outlined in the Oakland rent and eviction ordinance.
And what are some common just causes?
Non-payment of rent, breach of the lease, nuisance, illegal purpose, those are what we call fault-based just causes because the tenant is at fault. Some other ones that are no-fault evictions are owner move-in, Ellis Act evictions, capital improvement evictions. Those are the more common ones.
Okay, thank you.
So going on to specifically to owner move-in evictions, a landlord does have the right to evict a tenant because the owner is moving in himself or herself or moving in a qualified relative. So a qualified relative is a spouse, a child, a parent, or a grandparent. Siblings, aunts and uncles, cousins, no. The owner has to commit to living in that unit for a period of 3 consecutive years. They have to move in within 3 months. There's a lot of other conditions and rules in order to do an owner move-in, and also after you actually get the tenant out, there are additional requirements for the owner.
Okay, and what kind of cost are we looking at to do this?
So the Oakland ordinance provides that there are mandatory relocation payments, and it depends on how big the unit is.
Okay.
It ranges from $7,000 to $11,000 currently. There's that, and then also if the tenant does not vacate after you serve the eviction notice, then you're going to incur costs for having to file a lawsuit and legal fees and other litigation fees.
Okay. And what's the timing on this whole process?
The timing, well, that depends. So it's a 60-day notice generally, and hopefully the tenant vacates per that 60-day notice. But if not, and you're in litigation, then you're looking at least 2 months, and it could be longer depending on how the case flows.
Wow. Okay. Anything else I should be aware of for owner move-in evictions?
Specifically for buyers and sellers. So for buyers, if you are buying a property that is tenant occupied, then you want to get as much information as possible from the seller. The seller also has the option to ask the tenant specific questions about their tenancy, including whether or not they would be claiming protected status. And if they do claim protected status, then the owner that's moving in may be prevented from doing an owner move-in eviction.
Okay. And what would make them protected?
If they've resided in the unit for at least 5 years and are over 60 years old, or disabled, or catastrophically ill.
Okay, thank you.
And the seller can actually send a questionnaire to the tenant, asking the tenant to fill out this questionnaire. And if the tenant doesn't disclose their protected status, then it's deemed that they waive it and can't claim it later on.
That's great to know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, anything else we should know?
That's all that comes to the top of my head right
Okay.
now. Feel free to contact me through Joe if you have any other questions.
Great. All right, thank you very much. Lan Fullerton from Steven Adair MacDonals Partners. I'm Joe Dickerson at Keller Williams in Oakland. Thank you so much.